Okay, so we have done GL document posting, document display or change line items, and display balances for GL documents. Yeah. So now we will proceed to accounts receivable, and then we display the document. Then we will see the line items and then the account balance. Yeah. So I will show you how we can post customer invoice, and through the customer invoice our sales ledger will be updated. So go to accounts receivable, click on that, document entry and invoice. FB70 is the transaction code. So next time I will not uh, come through the menu path, I will just use the transaction code FB70. Okay, double click on that and you will come on this screen. The first step you have to do is to switch the company code. If it's not your company code, then you have to switch the company code. Click on switch company code and give your company code. Your company code is FO01. Continue. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was FB50. Okay. That was FB50. If you want to have a look, yeah. So slash O means create a new session and then go to FB50. Enter, and this will create a new session. So this is the GL account document. Yeah, its transaction code is FB50. Okay. So switch the company code and now choose the customer. Click on this button and okay, give the company code in which the customer master record exists. Yeah, F001 is the company code. Start search, and this will bring the list for all the customers created in your company code. So uh, do you remember that we created these customer master records? Yeah. Okay. Now we have to choose one of the customers. So let's choose the domestic customer, that is which is A1 Motors UK. Select the customers, give the invoice date 06/01/2014 and its period 10. Okay, and now the rest of the fields are optional. Yeah, we haven't configured the taxes, so we don't need to calculate the tax at this stage. We will choose the GL account. Which GL account which will come here? Which GL account will be selected for this transaction? What we are doing at the moment? We can actually give the name of the car as well if you like as a text. uh, GL account we are basically selling. Yeah, we are selling. So in GL account option we will choose the sales account, and the sales account, if you remember, we created yesterday sales account. Yeah, so choose the sales account which is in the profit and loss, and document, this is the default. Yeah, the system has already selected credit option by default. Your sales account is going to be credited. Yeah, because the customer is not making the payment at the moment. Yeah, the to collect the payment from the customer is a different process. Yeah, it is just the processing of the invoice. You just have to keep this in mind. There are two different processes. One is to post the invoice and second is to clear the invoice. Yeah, so at the moment we are just posting the invoice, and when we post the invoice our sales account becomes credited. Yeah, if we post the customer invoice, yeah, and when the customer will pay us, yeah, the customer will be credited and our sales account will be debited. But at the moment the customer is being debited and our sales account is becoming credited, because the customer is receiving the items and we are providing the items. Yeah, we haven't received the payment yet. So yeah, uh, yeah, well, you can say it's GRIR. GRIR is basically we see GRIR in MM module. Yeah, it's called goods receipt, invoice receipt. Basically, it's not like that. It's just a shorter term, shorter process of that. Okay, you cannot call this GRIR, because GRIR is the process which you will see in the MM point of view. Yeah, I will show you when we do the integration between FI and MM. So I will show you what is GRIR. Okay, but this process you cannot say that GRIR, because this is just an accounting document. Yeah, this just an accounting document. Okay. Yes, it's the, there is no goods involved. Yeah, you cannot see the goods basically. Yeah, it's not a material or anything. You can see that it's just a GL account, and this is just the processing of the FI document. Okay, so you can see this is just the uh, invoice and invoice receipt. Basically when we purchase, yeah, this is what we are selling actually. So this is not an invoice receipt. Basically we are sending the invoice to the customer. We are, it's like you can say invoice issue. Yeah, we are issuing the invoice. Receipt, when the receipt word comes, it means we are talking about the about our purchase side of the business. Okay, receipt, yeah, receipt from the vendor, issue to the customer. Okay, so give the amount. Let's say the sales is for 12,000. Enter. When you click enter, and A1 Motors, this is all the details of the customer you have given, and make sure that the amount which you gave here, the amount should be popped up here as well. Should be picked up by the system here to make the balance zero. Click on simulate, and this will show you the overview of the document. Now you can see the document type, you can see date, company code, fiscal year. You will see that A1 Motors is being debited and our sales account is being credited, and 01 is the posting key. Yeah, um, for the debit posting key for the customer one, and a 50 is the credit posting key. And when we post the document, the number range will start from 18,000. Yeah, will start from 18,000. Just have a look. Post, and you will notice the document 18,000 was posted in company code. You can display the document from the top menu, document display, and this will show you the display of the document. This is the data entry view, and if you click on general ledger view, if you click on that, you will notice that the 1500, yeah, instead of customer name, now when you click on the general ledger view, you can see the customer reconciliation account 1500. If you click on entry view again, you notice that again it's A1 Motors 52413, and then you click on general ledger view and 1500. Okay. uh, Next is, if there is a list of the customers invoices. Yeah, if there is a list, so how can you see that? Like a list of all line items. If you click on account and click on FBL5N, yeah. In general ledger, the transaction was FBL3N, and for customer, the transaction code is FBL5N. Double click on that and choose the customer account which you want to see. Give the company code. You want to see the open items, and the document type is normal items. Type of the type of the items are line items are normal items, and execute. Okay, click on that and choose the correct customer account. Five two four one three, and now execute. So that's the document we posted, 18,000. Yeah, this bell means that the document is due. This is the symbol. Yeah. We will discuss this later on. Document date and the net due date is the same, that's why the document is due for today. And further, if you double click on that, you can see the you can change if anything you want to change, so you can click on change button. And if you want to change the text or anything, so you can do that. Instead of for focus, you can write here for Fiesta, so you still have the option to change. And display document header, and you can display the document header entered by the username and the transaction code, date, time, okay, log system, this is the reference key, and all such information will be in the document header. And by clicking on this overview button, you can see the document overview. And the last one is to display the balance. And to display the balance, transaction code is FT10N. Double click on that, execute, and you will see the balance 12,000, which is debited. Yeah, 12,000. If you double click on that, also you will notice that 12,000 is in period 10. Yeah, that's the period 10, that's why you can see 12,000 in period 10. Double click on that and you can see the line items which make this balance. And further click on that and further have a look on the overview. So that's how you can see, post the customer document, display the document, display or change line items, and display balances. Now I will proceed to the accounts payable invoice. In order to post the vendor invoice, click on accounts payable, document entry, invoice. Transaction code is FB60. Double click on that. And the first step is to switch the company code. And give the company code FO01. Continue. And now search for the vendor which you have created in the previous step. Choose Morrison's UK Limited. Double click on that and choose the invoice date. And now which GL account we will choose here? Yeah, purchase account. Yeah, click on that and choose the purchases account 5,000, and let's say our purchase is for 10,000. Enter, and this should be balanced. Simulate, and as you know, the document will start from 19. Number range will start from 19. Post, so document was posted in 19,000, posted in company code FO01. You can display the document. So you can display the document. This is data entry view. If you click on general ledger view, so you can see the vendor reconciliation account in which the transaction is recorded. And further, you can click on account and display or change line items. Its transaction code is FPL1N. Double click on that and choose the vendor account for Morrison's, and this is choose the open items, execute, and 19,000 is the document number, and you can see the vendor line item display. You can double click on that and can see the line items individually, and this from this button you can display the overview of the display the document. And similarly, you can display the balances. Double click on that, execute, and this will show you the balance. Okay, balance. Double click on that and you will see what makes the balance. Okay, so 19,000 is the only document. Otherwise, if there are more documents, so you can see the balance for all the other documents. Now we will post the customer or vendor credit memo. What is credit memo? Can you repeat again? No, no. Bio. Well, credit memo means if the customer has returned the products to your company, yeah, the customer doesn't like it, or the goods are defected, or the customer is not happy with the goods, or possibly this is the first scenario, yeah, the customer is returning the items to the company. So what will you will do, you have to issue the credit memo to the customer. For example, the invoice we posted was for 12,000. So if the customer returned all the goods, yeah, so we have to pay, we have to issue the credit memo for the same amount, and that is 12,000, yeah. So if our sales account in the invoice of the customer is being credited, so with the posting of credit memo, our sales account will be debited again, will be debited. Similarly, vendor credit memo, if we are returning the items to the vendor, so then we will post a credit memo, or it's called raise a credit memo. We will raise a credit memo to the vendor. And also it is possible, another business scenario can be if the customer has paid us more and we have to pay back to our customer because the customer has paid us more and we have to return some of his money. Then again we have to issue the credit memo to the customer. And if we have paid to the vendor more than the requirement, then we have to raise the vendor credit memo. So that's the logic behind the credit memo. So I will post the credit memo and you will see what's the difference between the invoice and the credit memo. So go to the accounts receivable, and for credit memo the transaction code is FB75 for customers. Yeah, for invoice FB70 and credit memo is FB75. Double click on that and you will have exactly the same screen like the invoice. Even you can change from here invoice or credit memo as well. Instead of using a different transaction, you within the same screen you can switch the credit memo into invoice or invoice into credit memo. Choose the customer. So A1 Motors, it is not happy with the sales which our company has done. So he wants, we have to issue a credit memo to him. So choose 6,000 and the invoice amount was for 12,000. Yeah, was for 12,000 and enter, simulate, and according to the PDF when we post a credit memo, so it starts from 16. Post. So 16,000 was posted in company code. Now if you go back and now see the line items, click on that and see the customer line items, execute, and you will see now two line items. One is for the invoice. Yeah, 18,000 was the invoice and 16,000 was the credit memo. Yeah, and both, like 12,000 was because that's the invoice, our the customer was debited. Yeah, but when we issued the credit memo the customer is now being credited, and 12,000 makes it 0. So that's the logic behind the customer credit memo. Similarly we can post the credit memo for the vendor. And for vendor the transaction code is FP65. Double click on that and post the vendor credit memo. Choose the vendor. Morrison's and give the document date. And give the GL account, the same purchase account, and the invoice we posted was had a value of 10,000. So the credit memo will be will also be for 10,000. Simulate and post. So 17,000 was posted in company code F401, and according to the PDF vendor credit memo is 17,000 as well. So now go back and see the line items. Click on display or change line items and execute, and you can see that 10,000 was the invoice which was making the vendor credited, and now when we raised the credit memo, so now the customer vendor is being debited to make the balance zero. In other words, we are returning the items to the vendor. Now you can also see the balance, what how this impacts on the balance of the vendor. If you execute this, so you will notice that if the 10,000 is debited, so 10,000 will be credited. You see, 10,000, if it is being debited, so 10,000 is being credited to make the balance zero. Okay, and also one more thing, if you click on that, I just want to show you the display of the document. If you double click on that and see the overview of the document, this is the document overview, and according to the PDF, if you go back, every document is uniquely identified by the following field: document number, company code, and fiscal year. So you can notice document number, company code, and fiscal year. Yeah, so these three elements are different for each document. Yeah, this cannot be same for all the documents. Document number, company code, and fiscal year, every document is identified by these three following fields. Yes, will be the same, but it means that if you have got more than one company code, then in that case, you can identify a document from the company code and fiscal year. Okay, now the last one is how to post the invoice for one-time customer or vendor. You remember that in the master record of the vendor, one-time vendor or one-time customer, we did not give any information. We did not give the name, we did not give the address. You remember? Do you remember? Yeah. Okay. So now that I will tell you the reason why we haven't given that information for one-time customer or one-time vendor. Post the invoice for the one-time customer first. The same transaction code FB70, and now choose the customer one time. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Double click on that. 52625 is our one-time customer. Yeah. Double click on that and choose the date. And now choose the GL account, which is 6,000, and let's say amount is 1,000. So when I press enter, for it's because it's one time, yeah, when I press enter, so this pop-up window will come. Now here I will give the information for the customer: title Mr., and names Charles, and the PO box, any PO box number you can give, city London, and then continue. Simulate, and you notice that this is the one-time customer and then post. And 18,001 was posted in company code FO01. So can you tell me, can I post any other invoice in the same customer master record, in the same customer one time customer master record? We can, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, if I click on one time customer master record again, because you know every time the customer will be changed every time because it's one time. Yeah, yeah, it's blank. So uh, click on that, and you don't need to create another master record. Yeah, you can keep the same master record, and it's like, let's say it's the second customer, its value is 1500. Again you click and another, again the pop-up window will come, and this time you can choose here Miss, and give the PO box City London, continue, simulate, and post. So that's the logic behind the one time. Now if you want to see the line item, the transaction code is FBL5N. Yeah, you have to give /n in the middle, because /n means exit from this screen and go to FBL5N. So now you are in the customer line item display. Execute. Okay, not this one. Choose the one time. Choose 52625. Execute. And now you see two documents are there. Yeah, if you double click on that, the first it will give you the information, what, who is the customer, Mr. Charles, and the information you can give the bank information of the customer. Now if you, when you click enter, then you proceed to the line item detail. Okay, so that's how you can see the one time customer line items. Is there any question? The same process is for the vendor, one-time vendor as well. There is no difference between the customer or vendor. Okay. Now you remember, we did posting periods variant, yeah, open and close posting period. Now I will give you one example by posting into the customer invoice if the periods is closed. How periods control that, we see that. You can go through the menu path as well, but if you remember, if you know the transaction code is much better. Okay, its transaction code is OB52. Yeah, that's the posting period configuration we did. Go to the position and search for posting period variant FO01, which we created previously. FO01, that's the one. Now customer is represented by which key? From this column A. Yeah, from column A, which key represents customer? D. Yes, good. D represents customer. Yeah, so if I close the customer, let's say 8. Yeah, if I wanna post, 8 is the month of November. Yeah, if I wanna post any document in the month of November, first choose the customer. Sorry, November is open, yeah. November is open, yeah. If I wanna do in October, then we will see that. I will give the date, let's say 01/10/2013 and 01/10/2013. If I press enter, posting period 007/2003 is not open. So did you see notice that how posting periods work? Yeah. Now if you wanna post, yeah, you must have to post this. So you have to open the period for the customer and then save. Do you think you can post it now? Okay, let's see. Because when we will give the GL account, the posting period is closed for GL account, which is represented by S. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, enter. Okay. Now you have to actually when you do changes, you have to come back on the transaction again. So FB 670. Enter. Now you see again you are having this message, yeah. So now open GL account 7 as well. Okay, can you see this plus sign? Yeah, try this one. Yeah, open this one first before you open the GL account. Yeah, now try this time. You don't have this the message again, yeah. You just have the warning net due date is in the past, yeah. So you will notice the periods will be changed. Now period is 7, yeah. Okay, so you notice when you open the customer period, you have to open for the valid plus sign as well, which is valid for all account types, Now we haven't given the GL account, so let's have a look. Either we have got the error or not. So give the GL account 6,000 and give the amount, let's say this time 15,000. Enter. Period 007 is not open for account type S and GL 6,000. So so you observe how this posting period variant works. Yeah. Now you open for the GL account as well, 7, and save it. Now go back and try it again. Enter, and this time the system didn't give you any error, yeah, and you can smoothly process the document. Simulate and then post. Uh, No, warning is not an error. Warning actually is just for the periods that you are basically giving the dates for the past period. So that's just the message actually, you can say warning or message. Yeah, that's not an error. Okay. Ex exactly. You cannot take this as an error because there is a huge difference between the warning and error. Okay. So warning, you will definitely will have the warning even the periods are open. The system will give you the warning just to notify what you are doing. And if you know that what you are doing, so obviously you have to ignore the warnings and then proceed. Okay, okay. So that's the posting period variants. Okay. Our last topic will be for today posting authorization. Okay, Posting authorization. Now the business scenario for this, if there are new employees in the company and they don't have the authorizations to process more than 10,000 pound, like they cannot post a customer invoice more than 10,000 pound, or they cannot post vendor invoice more than 10,000 pound. So manager asks you if there is any procedure in SAP system that can you know that cannot authorize the employees, that cannot authorize employees to pay to process more than 10,000 pounds. So you can tell the manager, yes, of course uh, there is a possibility to process this into SAP system. So first you have to do configuration, and you have to understand the tolerance groups. Yeah, tolerance groups, actually we use this term in SAP system uh, to stores the settings. Yeah, it's like it stores the settings, or it basically stores the settings for the authorizations, what you can do with the document. Yeah, and tolerance groups are of four types. Yeah, tolerance groups for to users or employees, and further we will see the tolerance groups for GL accounts, for customer accounts, and for the vendor accounts later on. Yeah, so tolerance groups is a term used in SAP to give the authorization to process the document in a different way. So we will see here tolerance groups to users or employees, how tolerance groups works. So go to the transaction code SPRO, SAP reference IMG, and go to financial accounting. Click on financial accounting global settings, document, line item, and you have the option here, define tolerance groups for employees. Execute this button. Now when you copy the from the company code, the tolerance groups actually are also copied, or by default the tolerance groups are created. If you want to see the tolerance group for your company code, click on position and go to the company code F001, enter. So that will give you the default setting for the tolerance group. If you double click on that, so you notice at the moment you have upper limits for posting procedures, amount per document. You have this much limit to post. Amount per open item, account item, and this much. Cash discount you can give 5%. Permitted payment differences you can give on if you are processing sales ledger, so you can have permitted payment difference for 1,000 pound, 10% cash discount adjustment, expense 1,000, 10 and 10. Now this is too much. Yeah, this is too much, and the manager wants that it should be less than this amount, and some of the employees do not have that much access, but only 10,000. So what you can do, you come on this screen and you have the option here, group. You can make a group from for this tolerance. Yeah, so click on copy button, copy as, copy, and now this will be highlighted. Yeah, now you here, for example, if it's a new employees group, yeah, so you can select here ZNWE, new employee. Yeah, and here amount per document you can select here 10,000, 10,000. Cash discount is just 1%, and revenue you can permit it different, 50 pound, 1%, 1%, and 50 pound, 1. So you have given less authority to the new employees. That's the group name ZNWE. Save it. And now go back, and the second option you will have is assign your user or tolerance groups. Yeah, execute. Now all the user names who uses this system should be in this list. If their username is not in the list, then you have to create a new entry and then create their username. The username should be exactly the same through which they log on to the SAP system. So for example, I use the username Rana. So mine Rana, and if there is no tolerance group assigned, so it means I have a full authority. Yeah, the one I showed you the first. Yeah, 1,000. So I will have the default tolerance group authority. But if I want to put a restriction on the username account, then I will assign the tolerance group I have just created and then save it. Now go to the invoice. Go to the invoice now. The transaction code is FB6070. First we do customer one, and now choose the customer, give the date, and choose the GL account 6,000. Now try to give 11,000. What message you have got? Hello? Yeah. What did you notice that? What is the message I have got? Yeah. Yes, because I set the tolerance group. Yeah. So that's how you noted that. How does that work? Okay. Santosh, is it clear? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I am giving the limit for 10,000 only. So if I write 10,000 now and enter, so you will notice I will not have any message or error. Okay. So now I can process it now. So that's how you can give the authorization to the customer or vendor. Okay. Similarly, you can try the vendor invoice FB16. And give the GL account for 5,000 purchase account, and if you try 10,000, this will be fine. But if you will try 11,000, this will give you the error. Okay, so that's how the tolerance group works. Yeah, and if you put give 10,000, so there will be no message or error, and you can successfully post the document. So that's the end of this whole topic. So tomorrow we will start from customization for line items, layout, and screen variants. Is there any question? I'm gonna save the recording.